I did a post ages ago and loads of people loved it where I was like, how to do 100 goals in a day, yeah? And people were like, what? Like, they're looking at me like I'm talking nonsense.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking, what? Like right now. But for me, I've always felt like it's a claim, and I feel like the claims worked for me so many times.
100%. I am is the most important word in the world.
And with what you follow it with.
What I am, and then followed by what is the most important in the world. You know, like when we're talking about people going, I'm not bad or not this. The reason why, because not to plug me, but the thing that the content that I'm going to be releasing this year is specifically about words and phrases and how that silently conditions you.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason why I'm not bad, or when you say I'm not this, yeah, it's because you don't give your brain a clear instruction. Because if you go, I'm not bad, so what are you then? Are you happy? Are you excited?
Yeah.
Are you fucking angry? What are you? You don't give your brain a clear instruction.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So I think that I am, and then followed by whatever you're saying next is, and people just use it so loosely. They just affirm. I'm lazy, I'm this, and they don't understand they're programming themselves to become that.
All right, cool. So I was basically saying lifestyle, mad, and then how did you get out of that? So from a hustler's point of view, how did you get out of that and get back to earning good money?
Mindset. I went back to what it's funny, isn't it? These things are cycles, patterns. So I went back to what done it for me before when I was like living off my missus.
100%.
You know what I mean?
But the going back to basics thing is just so...
We get gassed. We get gassed. We get gassed and we stop doing the things that took us to the places that we...
Are you someone who thinks like I used to think, so for example, if I woke up at 6:05 and I went and got like a hot chocolate at 7:10 and I had a good day, I used to think if I do the same thing again, then I'll have a good day. Like, did you go back to the same basics? How specific was it for you?
To a degree. Not
that in, bro. Like, see, like, as a junior, I used to think, bro, like, you know, like in your head, because sales is such a mental thing, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
So, like, say for example, I'd done like 5 brochures, for example, and I had, bro, like, it was so bad that if I had like red socks on,
yeah,
like, I think, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you start having these mental battles because you think in your head, bro, it was the red socks, cuz. You know, like the red socks. That's what I'm saying. You know, you have a shit that you think, next tomorrow, I'm wearing the red socks.
I know people like that.
Bro,
inflicted by Chuchu, man.
Bro, trust me. Nah, listen. So the back to basics thing, I get it. Like, I get to the point of where, like, for me, if there's ever like an L period or slow period, or like even now isolation period, like I've been saying the same thing. Like, I need a certain level of structure.
100%.
So it means that I need to. My affirmations have to happen every day, or I'm just bro.
100%. I think for me, there's certain laws, like I said, that I can live by. Like getting up at the 4 or half 4 in the morning, just so I get 2 hours above what most people say is getting up early.
Have you done that your whole career?
Mate, it used to be between 3 and 4 used to be my hours.
And what time do you go to bed?
10:30. 10:30, my pup, unless I'm partying, and then it's 2 days later. But if I'm not partying, then
And you feel like you still have energy with what's that, like 5 hours?
I'm gonna be very, very real. There are days where I'm doing a nodding dog thing.
Yeah.
But that's not because I feel like my body's tired. It's because I'm consuming so much.
Yeah.
Like, I still buy into reading for at least half an hour. Normally it's an hour. I still only listen to audio CDs. Like. If I'm doing the Netflix, it is to find something that's inspirational.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
I got lost in the whole Game of Thrones things, and I hated myself. I
so
literally hated myself.
Bro, it's so mad because hearing
it.
you say these things, like even on my last podcast that I used to do, I had an episode about Love Island, and like the way that I spoke about it, people thought like I was just being OTT, but I feel like for me, I've always, even if I'm watching something that is like, I can't think of things I watch that are like crappy TV, but if it was close to crappy TV, I need to find something in there of substance, or I just can't. Like, I feel like I get to a point where if I've gone days without doing something within this, what we're talking about, bro, I feel like I'm losing weight, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I start fading
100%.
away, so I feel like...
But you the fact is you actually are.
Yeah,
that is the actual truth of
are.
it. It's just that not many people will accept it. Like you're always constantly in motion. There's no such thing as still.
But you stay, and what I would never ask, like one of the questions I always get asked, is like, how do you stay motivated? I think it's the most jarring question. So I wouldn't ask that. But you have stayed very consistent with principles that, like, it's mad because I look at everyone that I know in my network that is successful consistently and have been for 5 years plus, 10 years plus, yeah. And the one common trend that I see, and this is for those out there that are watching that maybe aren't successful, is they still have the same energy, the same principles, and they're still on the same shit, bro. And I feel like that's so important. Like you saying you get up at 4, like, bro, like to some extent, I feel like, why do you have to, like, do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
I get it a lot. Like, there's people that try to draw me out and almost argue with me about it. Yeah, well, you know, what about the people that stay in their boxes and they're coders and they make millions and all that sort of, and there is an argument. There's more than one.
But I've always said that's their way.
100%.
You know what I used to argue with myself? Like, I used to smoke weed hard, yeah? And I used to always say to myself, but rappers do it and they're successful. Yeah. I used to always think, but they're successful, so then why not? Yeah. But their craft's different, their environment's different, and they might not need every part of their brain like we do.
100%. 100%. I think, what would I say? I think for me, it's just having that awareness. You know, a lot of people say that they're such scared to once they failed, they're scared to sort of fail again. But what I learned from it, the level, it's almost like, you get to a level where you know your floor, you know your ceiling, then you massively crash. Then now this becomes your ceiling now becomes your floor, and then you have to find a new ceiling. So
would you say would you say you got to a point where you're not scared of, like, you know, that line, like, to go from like multi-millionaire to bankrupt and then back to a success? This surely is like, your level of fear must be minimal.
Nothing.
Because you felt it now.
Nothing. Like, people always ask me this, and I'm the guy, yeah. And sometimes it's detrimental, and that's why it's always good to partner up with an opposite. If another weasel word, but go out and find an opposite, yeah. Because sometimes you can still be reckless. Like, I will hear an idea and I will just go bang. And the one thing that has kept me consistent throughout, and I'm really glad you picked up on it, is energy. It's the only fucking real thing to me. Like, not even intelligence. Like, I know bare thick people that are making dough, and it is because of their energy. Do you know what I mean? So I've always kept that constant. Like, and I realized when I went through depression, that was the thing that wasn't any. That I had no energy. But I realized that I needed to get back to energy. What's going to give me energy? Structure. When I get structure, you feel like you're winning. It's like those little. I always say it. Like, how I did a post ages ago, and loads of people loved it. Where I was like, how to do 100 goals in a day. Yeah, and people were like, what? Like, they're looking at me like I'm talking nonsense.
I'm thinking, what? Like, right now.
So what I said is, make everything a goal. Because who's the goal to? I said, if you say you're going to get up at this time, if you say you're going to brush your teeth, if you say you're going to do this, if you say everything is a goal, what will happen is you start to tick these things off. You've written them down, so you've made it a psychomotor neuroactivity. So you've written it down, and then you can physically tick it off. Every time you're doing that, there's a part of your brain that's letting off endorphin saying, you win, you win, 100%. You win, you win. By the time you get to 20, you're not only approaching the world in a different way, the way you are carrying yourself. And this is the thing, most people don't understand, the way you carry yourself. Most people carry themselves in a negative closed state. 100%. What can come to you? You're literally batting off everything. But when you carry yourself in an open state, you not only see more opportunity, but you more opportunity comes to you. And you're more aware and open-minded for it. So I just started to literally make everything a goal for me. And I'll tell you, after a few days of doing something like that, the mindset and the just fucking respect you have for yourself. Because you're like, I can say shit and do it.
It's about, like, I think, like, when I'm hard on myself about things, like, externally people might not actually get the extreme, but I always think it's because it's a thing between me and me. My views on it, I've kept quite limited to speaking publicly, which some people might say I shouldn't. And I get why, because some people just want you to just be the Malcolm X, bro.
100%.
And I ain't trying to go out like that. But at the same time, when I say that, I'm slightly joking. Like, I respect people that stood for something.
100%.
But for me, I feel like I don't deal with these things or think about these things in a way that many people... And I'm not going to say I'm the only, because there's a large majority of... Like, minority, there's a large amount of us people that think like that. I don't like saying conspiracy theorists, because I'm not. I don't think I think of... Like, I'm not... It's not... I just think that if I see that book is white, I just want to know more about white. I want to know what formed white. I want to know why is the book white. And that's why this podcast is even called, like, the brand therapy, because I want to know more about it. Like, there's a Dior book, so why do they call it Dior? Like, why is it 4 letters? Because there's probably an intention behind why they've done everything. So for me at the moment, and I'm only going to really skim past it, but I feel like we are in a climate where you've got a large amount of people that are literally right now are buying every minute of the day.
100%.
Buying information. Everything in life is a sale. They're buying information,
100%.
buying information, buying information. And then you've got a very small minority that are saying, questioning. Yeah, I don't know why I should buy that. Tell me more about that. And what's your views on that? What's your views on the whole thing?
Okay, so I think like I said on my story the other day, like I've got to be slightly sensitive because I have a friend who's on the front line, and you know him as well. He's a friend of yours as well. So
100%.
we have a friend that's on the front line, and ultimately, everybody's sort of look on life creates their own universe. Do you know what I mean? So I'm right. He's also right.
That is such
there's no such thing. I'm wrong. He is wrong. Do you know what I mean?
100%, bro. 100%. And I just think that the only reason I jumped in because that point is like I had a debate with someone yesterday, and I think that point is I don't ever approach debates like everyone who knows me knows I have debates all the time. I don't approach it with you're wrong. I don't actually think everyone who's bought into everything they're saying, I don't think they're wrong. You're right, bro. Like in your reality, you're right. I just don't believe what you believe, but I don't think you're wrong. I don't want to war you over it. I don't want to fight you over it. I'm just very 100%. Passionate about the fact that I'm refusing to, and it's not just this coronavirus. I've been like this for years, bro. I'm refusing to believe just what's on surface because I think how you do one thing is how you do everything, and I refuse to believe that my reality was going to be in Lewisham. I refuse to believe that my reality was going to be in that job. I refuse to believe all those things. So I'm going to do the same thing with this.
100%, and I think there's a. All right, so how do I say this without dissing anyone? Good. Yeah. How do I say this? Okay, so I think that we are the minority thinkers.
Yeah, I agree.
So the majority have the power. Yeah. And what I mean by that is they say something and their voice gets echoed very quickly.
100%.
Like you've probably seen that whole thing about have you seen it on Netflix, the terrorists? Have you seen this yet?
There's loads. So
there's one thing now where it shows a program 2 years ago talking about the exact coronavirus.
There's a couple. Oh, I thought you seen it. I thought that was a
Have you seen it?
No, there's a couple. There's Contagion.
No, this one actually says coronavirus, respiratory, wash your hat. That is mad, and it was out 2 years ago.
This was out 2 years ago.
It was out 2 years ago. But what I'm saying is, my point why I'm saying that is, there's so many more people that want to spread the panic that something like that will go viral in minutes.
100%.
But we might say something that's just a challenging view, and only a few people will hear that.
I'll slightly clash you on that. I haven't watched it yet, but there's a guy called Dr. Icky.
No, I don't.
And something I say I'm gonna probably try and watch tonight, and it's on London Road. You heard London Road, the platform. And he's meant to be the main guy that's out there. I think his thing's going viral where he's ripping it apart. And it is getting the viral attention, but probably not to that level. Okay. I agree with that. I think
I have to watch that, man.
For me, so there's two main issues here, and one that I stay away from more so, and as we were saying, even like in regards to Chris, is the health side of things. I don't speak about the health side of things too much because...
And also, just to jump in there very quickly, I feel like if your mind believes you can get sick, like I have been ill twice in 15 years.
Do you know what's mad?
And once was only for 24 hours. That was it.
Mad?
In 15 years. Like literally nothing.
Bro,
zero.
Before this period, I've said this to everyone around me. Like so just before, probably like the early stages of Corona, I got really ill for about 10 days.
I remember, yeah, of course.
I was really ill.
I saw the potions you was cooking up.
Yeah, like, I was really, really ill. And I can honestly say, anyone who knows me, bro, I don't get ill. Yeah. I've never been ill like that. So for me, I think the same thing. Just to think about, I'm not trying to even allude anything. The amount of money those stores must have made in this last period must be mental. They've sold a year's worth effectively in a month. Yeah. If you're in a business, that's lit. You're lit. You're lit in business. Another aspect of it, like what I've been advising people, and I will always stick to, and I'll say this from the mountains, is be careful who you're following, and conversations you're having. Because, for example, bro, it happened to me Monday, like fresh week, and I'm mentally strong. I would say I've gone online. I've just gone through a few tweets. I started thinking, hey, this is kind of peak. This
is why I had to do that content. Do you know what happened to me? And no one knows this.
Yeah.
No one knows this, yeah? Oh, my God. So, where you know where my apartment is, obviously I've got the CoOp there.
Yeah.
everyone started. So my brother told me ages ago, because he's just connected, yeah. He was like, start buying a few things. This was before it was even big. Just like buying a few, whatever, man.
Yeah,
but I can't rubbish him off because he told me to buy Bitcoin before it blew, and I would have been gone.
Okay, one of them,
and I didn't listen to him. So I did listen to him
well,
now,
yeah.
And anyhow, it got to a point like people were tapping me up, and then they got with this narrative. But if you don't, then if it does happen, there won't be any left for you. And I went to fucking Co-op and I bought like 20 waters, and bare pot noodles. Like, who eats that? Anyhow, do you know what I mean? And I said, I got back here and I felt like a failure. I bought that, and CoOp, don't kill me, I bought bare chocolates, bare sweets. And I thought, this is how you know how stupid I am sometimes, Who buys pot noodles
in a time of a crisis?
Pot noodles, sweets, and water. It's like, this one's gonna fucking make me dehydrated, and I'm gonna drink the water to do it. What sort of fucking combo is that? And I sat back and I went, this thing, I deeped it. Probably this thing is really, really attacks the mind. And then that's when I went through. Bro. Who would want to control your mind? Because they can't. Let's stop.
100%. Like, for me, I feel like. The reason I said be careful you follow, be careful you talk to, like, I am going out of my way, and this is just advice now for people, like, I'm going out of my way to be in touch with my less fearful people in my life, just because I don't want to be in a state of fear. I know it's very real and it's out there, but I don't want to be in a state of fear. I think fear, you can make rush decisions, very bad decisions.
Spot on.
You can make bad judgments. I just think fear for me, the only, you can act well out of it. I can't say you can't, because but
let me spot on. Fear is meant to be used very marginally, very short term. Otherwise, what fear becomes is disease. That's it. Fact. You ask any doctor, they'll tell you that is what happens. It goes from sustained fear is disease within the body. So whenever people say, but I use the negative, how long did you take it? It would have been a split 100%. Situation where you'd have been disgusted 100%. At yourself, pissed off, angry, and it would have been instant. It wouldn't have been for days. That's what
I've always seen fear as something that is used as a controlling factor. So because there's so much fear right now, I am questioning where the controls come from. I am. If it makes me a conspiracy theorist, then, bro, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? I think another thing as well is the business side of things. So, like, I believe so one thing I've done a lot, like, I wouldn't say I was necessarily the most financially savvy, but within the last 6 months to 12 months, way before this, I've started becoming it just because of being more involved in business and stuff like that. And I have been studying lots of historical moments like this before, financially. Not so much the virus, but financially. Just to work out the trends. And something I'm confident to say is there's going to be a lot of millionaires built out of this period. A lot of successwul busineses.
Some of the most iconic companies will come out of this period.
Well, they said the other day, innit, that the last time this happened, Airbnb, Uber,
whole bag of
there's
them.
a few others that came out of this period. WhatsApp.
I mean, even now, my kid put me onto this, and I thought, incredible. That house party, you've seen the app?
Yeah. I was talking about this today.
Bang!
I was talking about this today. Do you know what's
mad?
You know that
and you can play games on it as well, like trivia.
Been around for years. But imagine that. But only now, yes. My boy was telling me today, it's been around since like 2016. He was saying.
Really?
But now, obviously, we're isolated, so everyone's like, and that's what I mean. Even something like that, you're right, because like out of that, bro. Even like I saw something today that I think was sick, and it was a podcast that inspired this podcast actually called Earn Your Leisure, American podcast, sick podcast, and basically he said. The world is going to change forever from this, which I do believe. From an economical point of view, it's going to change forever for this. And he also said because
Why was he saying that though? Just out of interest. I believe
he basically said, for a small example, is your employer probably always told you can never work from home. Something as small as that, but now you've realised you can. So imagine how many other things we've realised. For example, working out. Bro, do you know how many people are going to now realise you can work, like you can actually work out from home and it can work? Like, for example, like shout out was doing 30-day shred challenge. Yeah. Man are probably going to shred from that. Like I did was his first challenge last year. Man shredded, cuz. Shout out was. Man shredded. So if you're doing that in your house right now, you're gonna.
It's empowering. It is empowering.
I think we're going to become more resourceful. Like look at even today, like first episode, it didn't have to be picture perfect. Like it was just like, bro, let's have the conversation. Whereas I think we're sometimes spoilt for choice.
Listen. Like, again, Jim Rohn, I always quote him. He says that the average the average person has like 150 slaves. What he means by that, just so people know.
I was about to say, that's a mad one. That's a mad one.
What he means by that is, if you think about it, like, you got electricity, you got the TV, you've got the car. He said these things are slaves to you.
Yeah,
They make everything so much easier. He goes, if you think of your average journey, you just took that down to what you'd need to do to bop. You really realise the slave you've got in the car. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And I think man was meant to be resourceful anyway, but we got resourceful mixed up with another word, which is easy. Do you know what I mean?
Damn.
And that's the reason why everything that I do is always about mind and thinking. Because what if that wasn't available?
It's the
Are you still
most
able to
important
win?
muscle. Like, even like right now, like, I think it's going to strengthen a lot of people. It's going to strengthen and weaken. It's going to heighten where you really are mentally. Like, how you deal with this period, being locked in your house. Like, even to go back and touch on that, like the idea of them locking us all in our house, I just think, I know I'm iffy about all of that. Like, the idea of, okay, the way we're going to solve this is you all stay in your houses. I may be very, very wrong. Like, and I may get slaughtered for a lot of these comments, and that's fine. I'm willing to. But for me, I just think, and it's just my brain naturally programmed to think, so what's going on out there then? Like, because if I'm in there, what's going on out there? Like, I just think, why can't I go outside? I don't understand
And my
that.
brethren Steve, I spoke to him today, and I really, really love him for this. He was just like the human immune system is built to fight disease. Yeah. So he goes, I'm going about my business, not expecting to get it, but if I get it, I expect that I'm going to recover.
Well, again, stuff that I wanted to stay away from, but it's just what I'm seeing. I got sent something today that said, right before this, my mum sent it to me actually, and it was a nurse.
Younger.
Nah, she was kind of middle-aged, and she was basically saying that they're not telling you how, like, that you can, you can get it and it can be got, but they're not telling you how much, not how easy it is to fight, but the fact that a lot of people can recover from it. Yeah. Like, just like, it's like, for example, if I turn around and say, guys, there's a flu, everyone stay indoors, we wouldn't be as
people
reactive.
slap your face for it.
Yeah.
They'd slap your face for it. Like, it'd be.
It's a brand. The irony of this show being the brand therapy. It is a COVID-19 is a brand.
Yeah, 100%.
No matter which, no one can tell me that's a theory, bro.
Yeah,
it's a brand.
100%.
Because they sit there and where's the name come from?
Mate, it's like everything I say, man. Like, why that name? Sound like Combat 18. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, why have we got the... But it's this that we're getting fed, that if we don't question, you automatically have to accept.
Yeah.
Even if you don't question it out publicly, even if you don't, like I say, that's why I say, like, when people say these things, I have to say something to my brain, because otherwise my brain registers it as, maybe that could be true. And maybe it could be, but at least give me the opportunity to be on the fence and choose and do a bit of research and choose which way I want to go.
From a business point of view, entrepreneurial point of view, what would you say like are the main, in your, how are you functioning in this, and what's your plan within this?
So very, very simple. Fuck all the luxuries. I think that's quite natural. People stop looking at luxuries and look at the necessities. Energy is a great thing. Do you know what I mean? Luckily, my business now, we're centrally focused on clean energy, clean tech. I love it. Renewable, sustainable investments, etc. So for me, it's like, I think there's going to be great opportunity there. Yeah, very, very good opportunity there. And I think that I was speaking to one of my friends the other day, and they're just saying, like, certain pharmaceuticals quite naturally are going to come out with what they're going to call a vaccine. If you can find those companies that are working on that and you buy those stocks. And this is not me giving out financial advice. I'm just saying now. Don't want anyone losing their dough and come, you used to make 100 grand, you told us to buy this. I'm not claiming that. But I think that's a smart short-term move, for sure.
What about in regards to, so would you say right now is a good time to start a business? Or would you say
100%. I think, do you know what? The only reason I say that, okay, because I don't know that's a very loose question, because business, what type? But the reason why I say that is anyone that can start in this chaos, mayhem, distraction,
100%.
what can they do in normal circumstances?
Yeah.
So I think that those businesses that started in the last crash, the reason why they did smack it is because they looked for opportunity where most people would say there isn't.
Yeah.
And where they found that opportunity, now they're in situations where it's not neat, like, well, it's better, they're thriving.
I think what you just said about looking for opportunity when it seems there isn't, that's why I'm saying the mind has to be right. Because if you're just focused on fear right now, and Nipsey Hussle speaks on it, and it's just a beauty. It's one of my favourite videos where he talks about growth mode versus survival mode. And when you're in
100%.
survival mode, all you're thinking about is, right, this is it, and fending off everything else. Whereas where you're in growth, I think right now, you've got to think huge. Like, it's so easy for people to think, like, oh my God, no, I don't want anything. I don't want to achieve anything. I don't want a car. I don't want a house. I don't want nothing because it's just all over forever. Like, in a mad way, this is just me personally, I think about those mad, luxurious goals when life's mad.
Yeah, so it's funny. I think I told you this, didn't it? So my brethren, who is absolutely
Oh
killed,
yeah.
absolutely,
You got to,
I fucking rate him so badly, man. He started off a Cecil Lounge in Slough, and how he done it, mate. It's supposed to cost a certain amount of money. Got it for a fifth of the price. Started building with no planning permission. Just a proper
he's
advocate
a proper
for
hustler, innit?
hustling and just I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna do it. Anyhow, he phoned me on one tip where he was like he's helping me redo my mum's house, and he phoned me up like the builders. They're from China. They were saying you don't know how serious this coronavirus is, and he told me this whole story. I had 30 minutes of it and I felt infected. I went from sort of holding myself like this to literally my whole physiology changed. And then my brain, as it always does, was like, you have to fucking pull this. I pulled him and went in. I was like, I started talking at him. Like, remember the stuff, remember who the fuck you are, what you've done before. Anyhow, the next morning he sends me a picture. He said, I think we should buy this. It's a fucking private jet.
But you know what the thing is? You have to, though. You probably have to, innit? You have to, because, bro, at the end of the day, there's going to be a time after this. So what, are we gonna get to the end of it and then say, oh, we're cool, now let's start thinking, you're 6 months behind,
100%, mate. 100%.
No, I agree. One last thing I want to ask you, most impactful books, bro.
Oi, what's the secret?
I want your top five impactful books.
Okay, all right, so Think and Grow Rich, English or Italian?
Okay, you're starting. Explain why you learn Italian as well.
In 2010 I went to Italy and I had my missus' family, she's Italian, all at a table and they're all talking Italian. I felt like they were cussing me. They probably weren't, but I felt like they were cussing me. I didn't really understand what they were saying. I said, that is it. I'm going to be able to speak Italian better than Italians. I say madness, things like that, because then I set the bar so high, my brain has to catch up. And within 2 years, I was writing fluently. I did a meal where I invited the whole family.
Oh, you can speak Italian fluently?
Fluently.
Oh, so I didn't know that.
Fluent, read, speak, everything, yeah.
That's hard. I thought you was learning via reading the book. That's hard.
I speak fluently. I'm on to Japanese now.
That's hard.
Yeah. They're messing around. Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, so I then said, I set a goal that I was going to do this meal, and I probably visualised it, and I had the Romeo Hotel in Naples, which is ridiculous. Oh my God, it's bad. Top floor, they gave me the whole floor, swimming pool, everything, yeah, and I had this meal, big long table, a whole family, like proper old school smoking cigars, done 20 bottles of Cristal, and I'd done the whole lot in Italian. It was a big goal for me, and that was it, yeah, that was it. So Think and Grow Rich in English or Italian. Yeah. And then I would say Jim Rohn's, this isn't a book, it's a course, it's called The Art of Exceptional Living. That's another one. All good? Yeah, Art of Exceptional Living, that's a banger. This is a new one, but I love it as well. Rob Moore, Money.
Progressive.
Yeah, Rob Moore, Progressive.
I can't lie. Yeah, big shout out to him, man. Like, I've recently it's like I came across him 2 years ago, didn't
fuck with him.
Yeah.
He's a bit cheesy, isn't it?
Yeah.
The way he speaks.
Yeah. But you know what?
I can't even shout him. He reposted me. I should really.
Nah, as time's gone on, but that's me being real.
Yeah,
but I reposted stuff on Grow Daily because I can't lie. As time's gone on,
he knows what he's talking about.
Nah, he knows. That part I knew. I knew he always knew what he was talking about. That part I knew. But yeah, what is that? The book you said?
Money. It's wicked because it defunks a lot of the negativity people have towards money, and it really everything. It's wicked. That's a good book to read. I think one of my early bangers was Exactly What to Say to Yourself. That talks about self-conditioning, affirmations. One more. Let me think of one more. There's one that is a banger, but it's like, you're drawing me out here, man. I'm giving that the bangers, man. There's one that I got put onto by Joe Dispenza, which is breaking the habit of being you. So just by even the title,
that one,
it's hard. Joe Dispenza is a very, very sick guy because he goes on more of a spiritual understanding meditation, and he taught me how to meditate to a point whereby this is really, really strange because for ages I did meditation and I just thought it was a load of bollocks. I just did it because all of the successful people, it's like yoga. Like I can't move my legs anywhere, but I was like, you got to do yoga because it's the fucking vogue, innit? But I did it and didn't really see it. And then he taught me how to really go within, really, really be still, not just quiet the mind, and actually feel the energy of your body. And the first time it happened, I thought I was being possessed. It was fucking really weird. Really fucking strange.
Meditation was the same for me. I tried it like for ages. And I remember you say like I'm talking like back in 2012. I tried it, and I remember you say to my mum like it's not working. And she would say it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. And then one of the first times, and I remember I messaged my mum straight away, bro. I saw colours, bro.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
my life,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
I was like, what the?
Yeah. I've even got into states like where I felt like I'm hallucinating. It's mad.
Is it?
Yeah. It's really sick.
I need to get much more consistent now.
That book's sick for it then.
Yeah.
It gives you an actual practice that you can put into your ear, listen to, and then you feel your body sink. Yeah, and you can then start to feel from your top the energy flowing through your body. It's really. But then the reason why, because people are like, so then what after? But then you're fucking.
It's not about what. Yeah.
For me, I just feel like
you feel, innit?
Yeah, you just feel like really relaxed to be able to make decisions. So yeah, that's a good book. 3
main keys to success, and I'm out of there.
Okay, so I think the discipline. So when I'm going to say discipline, I just want to break it a tiny bit. What I mean by that is just be willing to do things that most people won't do because it will just gas yourself up. It will give you a lot of self-esteem. Second other thing, stay away from instant gratification. And keys to success. delete your phone down to 5 people. Always say it.
My God! I will end on that.
Big up,
so
bro.
Listen, Being Alfie, turn on your socials and all of that stuff. So
Being Alfie, I've got Being Alfie on Instagram, and there's going to be a lot of content coming out through my YouTube channel, which is Being Alfie as well.
We're documenting, we're in mixtape, we're in mixtape mode right now.
Yeah. To be fair, I've got to pick you up for that, you know.
Come on, bro.
You were very, very real about the way that was going, and I massively respect you. A lot of people find it challenging. I don't get it because like people put people on pedestals and then feel like they got to suck their ass and they can't actually be real with them, which is really damaging to the person.
100%.
It's to you
100%,
and to the person.
Man, 100%.
So when you came through and we had that conversation and you just said it, it came from. That's the thing. I think people think when you're critiquing people, you've got to be like,
I feel like if someone took that as rude, then I think that almost would have let me down as to how I saw you.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's like that ego cut. It's like that shouldn't be there because I didn't think you was that person.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, bro, like document. Like we're looking. I'm 100% looking forward to that. Like as I said, we need the gem. That's why I used the first on the show. But my guy,
thank you very much.
Brand therapy, we're out of there. Back.